Here we are. I don't know what, I know it's season 7. We're going to call this episode, I forgot the look. Let's call it 8. It's going to be really close. Here's the thing. We're not here today. But, Paul, you're literally right there. Well, I'm here, but not here. This is being recorded ahead of time. Because, unfortunately, somebody has to go to work. And it's this person. And I'm going to be somewhere in the air by the time you get to look at this. However, I got a cocktail for you. I got a treat. I just got back from Canada. Yes, thank you, OACFP, Ontario, for having me. It was a great time. And you know what they did? They let me do a cocktail at their reception. And we recorded it. And you're going to get to see it. So we're going to call that our Sunday episode. It's a little Canada, little treat, you know, with all the... I don't even want to get into it. Here's what you got to know about Canada. They get some great cocktails, and they get some great Canadien Rye Whisky, and that's what we did. So, come on, let's go. Blue Monkey Quarantina. Only business, monkey business, but we're not going in there. Let's go to Canada. So this goes back to 1922, and it was actually originally called the Fernet cocktail, and it was in a book called Cocktails and How to Make Them. They weren't fancy with cocktail name books back then. But it was in 22, and it was Robert Valmier who wrote the book, and in it, he had the Fernet cocktail. But what it did, when they kind of give where they got it from, what he said is that the Fernet cocktail was a cocktail that was much appreciated by the Canadians from Toronto, and that's where it sat. Fast forward, in 1948, there was another cocktail book that came out called The Fine Art of Mixing Drinks. Again, I tell you, they don't have a lot of fancy cocktail book names. And that was by David Embry. And he, another random fact, was actually an attorney, not a bartender, but he was an enthusiast. And he changed the name of the cocktail at that time to the Toronto cocktail. And nobody really knows how that all happened, other than that reference that this was a cocktail enjoyed by Canadians from Toronto. Now, the problem with the time, just so you know, is that in 1922, you had Prohibition. So you had no cocktails. So a lot of people, 1916 to 1927, for all of you wondering when you weren't allowed to drink. But what's funny about it, so a lot of people think that this cocktail actually goes back to early 1900s, all tied to Canada and Toronto. Paul, so here's why you're going to love it. One, we are going to be using J.P. Weiser's. What you want to do is not only a Canadian whiskey, but ultimately a rye whiskey, which J.P. Weiser's, which I've learned. I'm a big fan. I'm going to try it. So just like an old fashioned, we're going to start with 2 ounces, put it over some ice. Then you're going to add, by the way, if you ever order an old fashioned is simple. It should be a sugar cube or simple syrup, bitters, and then that's it. A lot of times you'll see people throw oranges in it and cherries, and then they muddle and they do all that. Walk away. Walk away. Say, no, that's wrong. I don't want that. So this is a 1/4 ounce. I would measure, but I'm going to just try. So just a little bit of simple syrup. And then star of the show, which a lot of people don't know, and this will be the only problem you'll ever have, is Fernet Branca. Fernet Branca is an Italian bitter. Some people like it, some people hate it. But it's if you've ever had Campari, Aperol, any of those, that's what this is. Cynar, those are all bitters. They're digestives, they're good, they're Italian, has nothing to do with Canada, but that's what they picked. Just a 1/4 ounce of this. And then we're going to use this straw. You're going to stir. Oh, am I allowed to borrow your Angostura Bitters? Yes, thank you. I'm not touching anything of this. Thank you, sir. Yep, and just like an old fashioned, just a couple dashes. I made a mess already, sorry. And then you're going to stir for whatever you're comfortable stirring. And then can I have, actually one more thing, can I have, you know what, I'll pour off of this. Normally, I put it over a cube, very nice and all that, but in this case, we're just gonna do that. Orange, lemon, we have orange? Lemon. Can I have do you have a knife? Can I burn it? Oh man, he's like, see, I know. Oh, that's perfect. Because I don't have an orange. Oh, do you have an orange? Old. We have the proper thing. Old. Orange is what we really want. And then all we want is that. And then we're going to do this. Give it a little up. And boom. Folks, that is your Toronto that you should be really proud of. I have to. So here's another bad sign. If you're a bartender after they make your drinks, hold on a second. Yes, that's good. And then they give it to you. That's bad. But that's a good cocktail. Have you made the Toronto? Are you ready for the Toronto? Because you might have to make some Torontos. Now, here's the funny thing. You probably won't see it on a lot. A lot of people will term this a call drink. And a call drink is a cocktail that will normally not be on a menu, but the bartenders in the bar, they should know how to make it. It's a simple, old-fashioned Canadian style. There's your Toronto. Enjoy. Here's my cheers to Canada and Toronto. Thanks for having me.